fine. But I did see The Bodyguard at the Orpheum tonight, which is through the Hennepin Theater Trust, and I have season tickets with Rachel from MN Community, so we are going to pretty much all of the shows this season. The last thing that we saw, right, was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night, which was fantastic. And tonight, The Bodyguard opened here, and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go to The Bodyguard or not, but I'll let some more people maybe filter in. So here's the playbill from tonight. Hi Kendra, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I'm really bad with names, and so I'm using this as a cheat sheet in case anyone asks about anything, and of course I want to give proper credit to the cast. But I think a lot of people know the story of The Bodyguard loosely. You know, it's based on the movie that had Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston in it. Very much a 90s movie. She's, you know, this big star, and she has a stalker who is really freaking creepy, especially in the show. So they hire Frank, the bodyguard, to keep track of her. So Deborah Cox plays Rachel Marin, which is Whitney Houston's character in the show, and she's really just fantastic. I think she does a lot of justice to the role, and I think that yeah, I just think that she portrays that Whitney vibe so well. So there was a lot of nostalgia going on. And then Judson Mills plays Frank Farmer, which is Kevin Costner's role. And I think that he gets that role well, but it still almost feels like bad acting sometimes. Yeah. And then there's her son is another prominent role, Fletcher, who is played by Douglas Baldeo. He is the cutest little kid. He sings and he dances in it, and he is just very, very talented. I was very impressed by him. The fourth character, and the last one that I'll mention, is, oh, maybe she's an understudy. Where is she? Nikki, who is Rachel's sister in it. But yeah, maybe she's not the understudy. So Jasmine Richardson. I almost liked her voice more than Deborah Cox's voice, but I think that they were both fantastic in the end. Okay, so about 15 minutes into the show, I kind of felt like I wanted to leave. It was so cheesy and so bad that I kind of was like, if this is what the rest of it is going to be, I don't think that I can stick around for this. But thankfully it got better. The songs were amazing. They play them pretty much all off like you're actually in a concert, and that was pretty cool. So at times, you know, they're facing the audience and you just feel like you're in an actual concert, and they have other dancers on stage. All the costumes and all of that were very spectacular. The choreography was a lot of fun, very engaging. And then there'd be times where they kind of flipped it, and so the people on stage actually had their backs to us, and they were towards the back of the stage, so we could see what was happening backstage in the show, if that makes sense. That was kind of a weird way to explain it, but they kind of, you know, they just played with the different angles and stuff really well. The set to me was really interesting. I guess I don't know if this is actually supposed to be taking place in the 90s like the movie was, because it did kind of have an old feel to it. There were all these panels that moved around a lot, and they had these solid colors that lit up, and I think that, yeah, it just kind of gave it a dated feel to it. I did enjoy the creativity of the panels because they could make a lot of different shapes. Like at one point, the sides came together, and then the top came down, and so it was like she was in a recording studio. Or they would come in close together on one side of the stage and act like a door. So they were really versatile. Like I said, they just kind of felt a little dated because I think of the colors of the lighting that they used and things like that. I think going into it, I feel like I'm a little, I don't know, a little like picky right now about theater, because I just have these strong ideals of what I want to see in my head, and they're very progressive and whatnot. So at first I kind of struggled with it because, you know, like there's that idea that he's the bodyguard and every woman just really wants a man who's going to save her and be her hero and whatnot. Don't mind the cats back here. I don't know what Gus will be doing, but apparently he's going to take a bath, so thanks to him for joining us tonight. But yeah, I think there's that idea of, hi Lori, thanks for joining. Just talking about the bodyguard, and I just started talking about the fact that I was a little worried going in because it's, you know, the bodyguard kind of has that feel that everyone just wants to be saved, you know, they like the firefighters and men in uniform and whatnot. But I think that this show does a good job of having balance between the main male and female characters, because she's a very strong woman and she does what she's going to do and you can't tell her no, but she also is vulnerable and, you know, does want someone that's going to make her feel safe, which I totally get. I think that as much of a feminist as I am, I do like having a balance between being feminine and having someone masculine as a partner. And so yeah, I think that this just kind of had a good balance because Frank, Kevin Costner's character, again, played by Judson Mills, I think that he gets vulnerable during the show as well. There's a really great point where they end up at a karaoke bar and she convinces him to sing and he's not a strong singer. And he just plays this part so well. It allows for a lot of laughs and whatnot. And then she gets up and sings and blows everyone out of the water, of course. But yeah, like I said, I think that they just have a really nice balance between both being very strong and assured, but also showing each other vulnerability. So they have a really nice balance between the two. And in the end, I like their relationship. Another thing that I like is the fact that it is an interracial couple on stage. I feel like for when the movie came out too, you know, seeing that a black woman with a white man on screen, that's just not something that you saw that often at that time. And that was a really big deal to me, especially as someone who's the product of an interracial marriage. My mom's Korean and my dad's white. So there's been a lot of times in my life where that's kind of been, you know, looked down upon because they're different races, and this shouldn't be a big deal at all, and it's not a big deal. So I do enjoy seeing that on stage, and I appreciate the diversity that this show allows for that to happen. So the villain in this is super creepy. Like, you completely creep me out. And if you guys have any questions about this, if I'm not clear about anything, certainly just type in your little comments and then I'll answer them as they come in. But yeah, this show freaked me out. Like, it had me afraid to even just walk to my car. I have a little mace on my keychain and I definitely might have had my hand on it because they did such a good job of creeping me out. They have they make use of a screen and they project some images onto it. So towards the beginning, they show the guy who's stalking Rachel's character, and he's sitting at this table, and I think he's shirtless. I don't know why he's shirtless in a lot of the show, which, I mean, he's, you know, he's not bad to look at, but it just seemed kind of pointless, I guess. Rachel from MN Community, who I saw it with, she pointed that out, and I thought, yeah, that is kind of weird. And for anyone else joining, there's Gus still. Apparently he's done cleaning, but so yeah, he's sitting at this table and he is assembling this letter, you know, one of those like ransom letters like people used to do where they cut out the letters from magazines and whatnot. He has sent her this letter and they're showing him assembling it, and he's wearing the latex gloves so he doesn't get fingerprints on it, and it's just really menacing and creepy. Then at a later point in the show, he shows up very unexpectedly, and it's one of those like boom moments where the entire audience probably jumped. I know I completely did. It was super effective, thoroughly creeped me out. And there weren't as many moments where I jumped like that, but they were able to utilize him in a way that just was really creepy, and I appreciate them for that because I go to theater to feel things, and I think that they very much succeeded. Another thing I will note, if you do see this, it's just in town through this coming Sunday, so not very long at all. But Rachel said this to me too, that at one point he comes to stage left, I don't know, stage right. Okay, I'm not a theater person, I don't actually know these things, but if you're facing the stage, he comes to the front left and he has a gun and it has the little red dot on it. And he points it out to the audience and you can see it tracing the audience. And again, very effective in its creepiness. But like Rachel said, I just feel like in this day and age, is that really a smart choice? I don't think that it is. Thanks, Kendra, stage left. See, I wanted to say that, but I doubted myself. But yeah, so you follow this little red dot around the audience and it just seemed, I mean, you know it's not a real gun, you know it, but it just seemed like there could have been a better way to do that, I guess. So that's my thoughts on that. What else was there? I think, well, the music was a lot of fun. I listened to a lot of Whitney Houston in the 90s, may she rest in peace, and I think that, like I said, I think Deborah Cox definitely did her justice, and they, you know, they went through the whole range of songs. Even after Curtain Call, the dancers came back on, and she came back on in this beautiful fancy dress, and they sang I Want to Dance with Somebody, and it kind of got the whole audience dancing and clapping, and I think it was a really great way. Yes, Kendra, yes, it was fantastic. It was a really great way just to kind of close out the night. Again, especially having just felt so thoroughly creeped out at moments during the show, it was just nice to have something a little bit more uplifting to end things. And yeah, if you're a fan of Whitney, I would go see it. Maybe buy the cheaper seats. I don't feel like this is one that I would have been happy if I had paid to sit way down on the main floor where tickets can be $100 to $150 or so. But Rachel and I, our seats are way up in the balcony, the nosebleeds, if you will, and I'm satisfied with the show. I liked it a lot better than I expected to. There's Chloe now. She's gonna clean herself too, because they're doing what cats do. And yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions. It looks like I just have a couple of viewers, but I appreciate you all for watching. So yes, I think that The Bodyguard stays true to the movie. I think that the performances are really great. Chloe would agree. She's just gonna say hi. I'm gonna make her say hi now because she usually talks when I'm on the phone, which is really super helpful. Yeah, and the music was great. I think that's really what it comes down to, is I really appreciate it for the music. It was a lot of fun. I like that they staged it as actual concerts, which I expected them to. Yeah, and I think that overall I'm glad I saw this. I was a little bit more optimistic than I might have been because I know that Ghost had a lot of really good reviews, I think. But that one sounded a lot better than people expected it to, so I was kind of hoping that for The Bodyguard as well. And like I said, I'm completely satisfied with it. So yeah, thanks for listening and for watching. That's my probably kind of scattered recap of the show, but yeah, next up, what do they have next? I know Matilda's coming, and The King and I, and there's one more in between there, but then more importantly, Wicked's coming in the spring, and I'm literally probably going to see that at least 4 times, because it's here for a whole month, and I'm definitely going to take advantage of it, because it's my favorite ever. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and this was fun, and not as scary as I thought it might be. So have a good night, everyone. Okay, thanks. Bye.